Tom Cruise run. Tom Cruise running. Tom Cruise running. So you're telling me you haven't watched Top Gun Maverick? What is wrong with you? Let me just, you need convincing, clearly. Let's talk about it. Hold on. Okay, let's talk about Top Gun Maverick for a second. So, first and foremost, it's probably not fair for me to assume that you haven't seen it, or that you even want to see it. Here's the deal. Personally, I didn't even want to see it. I mean, of course I wanted to see it. I'm down for any Tom Cruise action movie, but that's all they've been, right? That's all they've been. They've just been superficial, shallow, but really, really impressive action. I've always, it's weird with Scientology, blah, 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 but all of the action is so impressive in how he does like almost all of his own stunts, and he learns to fly helicopters, he learns motorcycles, cars, it's just really impressive, and I've always admired that about it. So you're like, well, Top Gun was made in the 80s, and I wasn't born in the 80s. I don't have the full nostalgia of it. Not that you have to be born in the decade to be nostalgia for something you grew up with. I just didn't grow up with it. It was fun, but it was light. It wasn't super crazy. So I wanted to go see Bob's Burgers movie, which maybe I'll do a review about that. But I went to go see Bob's Burgers movie, and my buddy Steven, who I share a birthday with, the exact day, we're like, let's do a double feature of Top Gun and Bob's Burgers. I was like, great, that's fine with me, as long as we go see it in like XD or IMAX. And so we did. And I can't even, I was swept away. This movie swept me off my feet, soared into the sunset. This movie was so good. I can't even, it's just why are you even here? Go see this movie. You know how many people I've talked to who are already seeing it for their second time? It's only been out for a week. So I'm telling you right now, it's the beginning of the weekend. Make plans to go see this movie. So yeah, super exciting. Top Gun is a superior sequel. It is a, seriously rare breed. Sure, I've liked several sequels more than the first movie, but this one is objectively better than the first one. I mean, I'm talking to long-time bomber jacket wearing, aviator wearing, people who've loved Top Gun since '86, and now 36 years later, this movie's finally been made, and they're like, this movie is better than the first one. It's so good, and it makes me love the first one even more, blah, blah, blah. And then there are people like me who are like, I've always kind of been about Top Gun, and then I'm like, this movie is going to be one of the greatest movies of all time. This is so good. And it's just a highly, highly entertaining movie. The action is amazing. And the reason why it took 36 years for this movie to get made is because Tom Cruise wanted it to be all real jets. He didn't want it to be any CGI jets. He wanted the cockpit footage to be almost 100% real, and it was. And you can tell the difference between this one and the '86 version. You can see the lack of CGI that's being used. Sure, there's some sprinkled in and out throughout, but this is really, really impressive. And Tom Cruise developed a 3-hour training program for his actors, his fellow actors, to work on their acting skills while in flight, experiencing those G's, understanding what to do. They had to do their own makeup, their own lighting, their own sound, their mics, etc., and they were acting. It's all in one while you're riding in the back of the jet. And then if you didn't get it right, you had to go back up. I mean, this movie took forever to make. But yeah, so highly, highly recommend this movie. And here's what, you're like, well, Philip, the first one had a lot of action too, and I really like that. Well, for me, and For me, the action in the first movie was kind of like, it was good, but it just like, there's a more authentication of this one, more authenticity. I'm not going to skip over that word. But there's more to the action than just that. It's not just the action. What really stands out against this movie is the fact that there is genuine substance and depth to the entire ensemble, not just Tom Cruise. And there's just, you can see the emotional arc for every character, even the smallest minor character that has just a little bit of dialogue. The antagonist, the protagonist, the sidekicks, the supporting, like everybody has something to offer in this movie. And that just what makes a good movie for me, like a movie that's going to stand the test of time. A movie that people who don't like Top Gun, people who haven't even seen Top Gun, can really enjoy this movie. That is the other wild thing to me. I am a diehard person who I get actively angry inside of me, boiling my blood when I hear that when people see a sequel without seeing what came first. I hate it. But I found myself walking out of the theater. I'm like, you don't even need the first one for this. You can get 97% of the emotional connection from this movie and everything you needed from the first one in the flashbacks that they do. The only thing that I would say that you're missing in that 3% is the full depth of him and Val Kilmer's relationship. That's the only thing that's slightly missing. But as far as like catching up on what happened to Goose and Tom Cruise's relationship with him and like all that stuff, all that's explained. And like Jennifer Connelly wasn't really in the first one, and all of that gets explained. Like all the romantic relationship stuff, like it's so good. You've got to make this a priority to see in theaters. This is what Christopher Nolan wanted Tenet to be. What a big dummy. I'm sorry, Christopher. I love your movies, but thinking that we were going to just blow back into the theaters with COVID for one of the time trippy movies that you made, I'm sorry, but Tom Cruise did it. It's incredible. I'm so excited to have to say that this is what people are coming back to the theaters for. So it's really awesome to see, and I like I said, people are seeing it twice. People are going, I would like to see it twice. I don't know if I will be able to make it given my schedule, but if I can, I will. And if you can see it in an XD theater, Cinemark XD, or AMC Dolby, or the IMAX, any of those, like, it's worth it. It's worth the extra dollars to go see this movie, because it's just that big of a movie. It's fun. It makes you laugh. It makes you feel emotion. Makes you feel tense. You feel the jet engines roar. I shouldn't have to say anymore. Go see this movie. All right. This is a great start to the summer. I'm looking forward to watching more movies with y'all. Leave a comment. Let me know how you felt about Top Gun, and I'll see you next time.